A warm good morning to all the respected dignitaries, professors, faculty members, researchers, and dear students. I, Dr. Rohit Ravindra Borlikar, take the privilege to welcome you all to this inaugural function of the advanced level of AICTE Training and Learning Academy sponsored faculty development program. We are honored to have Honorable Vice Chancellor of Indira Gandhi National Tribal University, Professor Prakash Mani Tripathi, sir, Head of the Department of Tourism Studies, Pondicherry University, Professor Sampath Kumar Swain, sir, Dean, Faculty of Commerce and Management, IGNTU, Professor AP Singh, sir, Head, Department of Tourism Management, IGNTU, Professor GBS Johri, sir, Professor Jitendra Mohan Mishra, sir, for gracing this occasion. I request Dr. Prashant Kumar Singh, Assistant Professor, Department of Tourism Management, IGNTU, and the coordinator of this faculty development program, give the welcome address. Prashant, sir.
Thank you, Rohit. Good morning to one and all, and I welcome one and all. Firstly, I welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Prakash Mani Tripathi ji, and I welcome Professor Sampath Kumar Swain, sir, the Head of Department of Tourism Studies, Pondicherry University. I welcome Professor AP Singh, sir, Dean, Faculty of Commerce and Management, Indira Gandhi National Tribal University, Amarkantak. I welcome Professor GBS Johri ji, Head of Department, Indira Gandhi National Tribal University, Amarkantak. I welcome Professor Jitendra Mohan Mishra of my department. I welcome all of the participants who are registered from all over the country. मैं आप सभी का स्वागत करता हूं, अभिनंदन करता हूं। Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. मैं आप सभी का स्वागत करता हूं, अभिनंदन करता हूं। एंड ये अटल AICTE की दूसरी वर्कशॉप है, दूसरा FDP है टूर पैकेजिंग मैनेजमेंट पे। वी ऑर्गेनाइज one FDP on tour packaging management in month of August, basic level, and this FDP on tour packaging management on advanced level. We hope when you completed this FDP, you find some skills of tour packaging management. हमने बहुत सारे एक्सपर्ट्स को इनवाइट किया है, जो एकेडमिक्स से हैं, जो इंडस्ट्री से हैं, और जो आपको टूर पैकेजिंग स्किल्स की छोटी छोटी बातों को आपके साथ शेयर करेंगे। और ये केवल वन वे प्रोग्राम नहीं है। मैं आपसे फिर से कहना चाहता हूं, हमने लास्ट FDP में भी यही किया था और इस FDP में भी हमारी यही कोशिश है कि ये वन वे प्रोग्राम ना हो। इंडस्ट्री के एक्सपर्ट्स भी हैं, एकेडमिक्स भी हैं, बहुत सारे अच्छे टीचर्स हैं, इंडस्ट्री के लोग हैं, जिनसे आप उनके लेक्चर के बाद आप उनसे बात करिए, आप उनसे सीखने की कोशिश करिए, अब टॉक करिए। और बहुत सारे ऐसे इशूज हैं जो हम टीचर रहते हुए हम नहीं सीख पाते, क्योंकि हम इंडस्ट्री में या तो हमने ज्वाइन नहीं किया, हम कभी इंडस्ट्री में रहे नहीं, या अगर हम इंडस्ट्री में रहे तो हमने बहुत पहले इंडस्ट्री को छोड़ के अब हम टीचिंग में। तो जो डे टू डे चेंजेज हो रहे हैं इंडस्ट्री में, उनके बारे में हम बहुत सारी चीजें हम यहाँ पर सीख सकते हैं, और अपने जो टूर पैकेजिंग की स्किल्स हैं उसको हम डेवलप कर सकते हैं, और वो सारी चीजें हम डिलीवर कर सकते हैं अपने स्टूडेंट को, उनको समझा सकते हैं। तो उम्मीद करता है, आई होप कि आफ्टर दिस एफडीपी आप बहुत कुछ सीख के जाएंगे और मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि जब मैं वैलिडिटी फंक्शन में ये रिपोर्ट प्रस्तुत कर रहा हूँगा तो शायद मेरे पास कुछ ऐसे इनपुट होंगे जिससे मुझे हमें लगेगा कि हम अपनी इस एफडीपी को कराने में सफल रहे। थैंक यू सो मच। ओवर टू रोहित।
Thank you, sir. Now I request our source of constant support and motivation, Head of the Department of Tourism Management, Professor Gyanendra Bahadur Singh Johri, sir, to deliver his thoughts on this occasion. Johri, sir. I think he has got disconnected. Okay. Shall we go ahead, sir? Prashant, sir?
Yes, I think there is a problem in campus net.
Yes,
तो
sir.
हम
Yes, yes.
एपी सर को इनवाइट कर लीजिए, फिर हम
Yes, yes.
इनवाइट कर लेंगे जोहरी से।
I humbly request Professor AP Singh, sir, Dean of our Faculty of Commerce and Management, to express his view on this FDP.
Yeah, thank you, Rohit. Good morning, everybody, and Honorable Vice Chancellor Sri Prakash Mahindra Tripathi, Chief Guest of this program, Professor Swain Sir, and Head of the Department of Tourism, Pondicherry University, Professor Johri, Head Department of Tourism, Dr. Prashant Kumar Singh, Coordinator of this one-week FDP program, Deputy Coordinator of this program, Dr. Rohit Borlikar, and all the participants, and in fact, my faculty colleagues. Now, it's a wonderful opportunity for me to be interacting, but yes, there are certain concerns we do have as far as tourism industry is concerned at the backdrop when we've been reeling on with the third wave of COVID. And I wish everything gets back to normal, especially for ourselves and for the tourism industry. Now, it was known fact, I don't need to get into detail of this, what is this COVID-19, because it was declared a pandemic in 2020 by World Health Organization, and this pandemic has spread across the country very fast, and it has impacted the different facets of the business environment, and it has, and still, as far as tourism industry, it's still reeling under a tremendous pressure as far as this COVID is concerned. Now, when I'm addressing this particular FDP and seeing a lot of participants have joined from this for this FDP, and I think we are going to have open this inaugural session on a positive note. That yes, things are going to get back to normal, and yes, maybe normal or a new normal we're talking about. That's what we've been talking about. Now, the pandemic outbreak, I'll give you certain facts. Probably I don't need to get into detail of this because Sven sir is expert in this, and a lot of people who are already joined, they know a lot about. But yes, there are certain facts which we need to be clear about. Okay. Now, COVID-19, what impact did it have on the tourism industry, global tourism industry? Now, it is one of the major contributors as far as GDP of the global economy is concerned. Now, it contributes around 10.3%. Maybe I've got this figure, if I'm not wrong, Spencer can correct me. It's contribute 10.3% of the GDP, global GDP. And the rate is around 3.5% as compared to the real GDP of the global economy. And if I'm not wrong, it is one in 10 jobs is created by tourism industry. And last 5 years, it has been that WTTC says that every 1 in 5 5 jobs, would say 4 jobs is being created by tourism industry. Now, what has been a very bad situation as far as tourism industry is concerned? Things have been very bad for tourism industry. Yes, 2016, yes, tourism industry, India also was impacted by this. Global tourism industry was impacted, as far as Indian tourism industry was also impacted. Now, the foreign exchange earning from 2016 to 2019, as far as Indian tourism industry, was 7%, but dipped in 2020 due to COVID-19. Now, and financial year 20, the tourism industry accounted for 13 million jobs, which was 8% of the total employment in the country. And we expect by 2029, it is expected to be around 53 million. According to World Trade Council, Indian ranked 10 among 185 countries in terms of travel and tourist total contribution GDP in 2019. During 2019, contribution of travel tourism to GDP was 6.8% of the total economy, Indian economy I'm talking about. And it was to the tune of US dollar 194.3 billion. And By 2028, Indian tourism industry and hospitality is expected to earn around 50.9 billion as visitor exports compared to 28.9 billion in 2018. Now, these are certain facts which I'm quoting, yes. And these are some positive figures we've been talking about. Yes, there are something also negative, because I'm not discouraging anybody, but there are certain hard facts we need to get clear about it. It is estimated that as far as COVID is concerned, estimated overall losses to the sector could be around to the tune of 16.7 billion. And the tourist arrivals as far as March 20 is concerned was 66% lower than March 2019. This is what being quoted by tourism industry. This is what WTC and said Indian Tourism Minister of Tourism says this. Now, one more problem here is that the loss in jobs. The travel industry India employs around 87.5 million people either directly or indirectly. And it is estimated that 40 to 50 million people employed in this sector could lose their jobs. And due to this pandemic, and which is up to 57% of the workforce of the sector. Now, this is something very hard fact. But yes, when I'm addressing this inaugural session, I think we are going to have a thing on a positive note. And only thing I'd like to say is that when it's a wonderful opportunity that we have been organizing these kind of FDP. This is the second FDP, and I congratulate Dr. Prasant Singh for this. And in fact, I congratulate all the participants who have already participated earlier and those who are participating as of this FDP is concerned, that things are going to get to normal. And only thing we can do about is that you're not going to be reacting to this particular situation. We have to, what tourism industry say, that we have a model in tourism industry which says respond. Now, respond means that we are going to have things on a positive note. Things are going to work on a positive note, and respond as far as tourism industry concerned is that restart travel. This is one thing. Establish protocols, stimulate demand, promote coordination, operationalize the new normal, nurture new options, and develop digital solution. So as there are a lot of experts who have already joined, Sven sir has already joined us, and he's going to deliberate on this. So I'm not going much into detail, but yes, there are certain facts which I've quoted, and there are other people who are waiting. So not taking much of a time, I'm only going to close my deliberation on a positive note that yes, things are going to get back to normal. The only opportunity we have is that we're going to respond to things very positively, and I expect everything goes well and we get out of this pandemic by mid of March. This is what the experts are suggesting, and they're expecting that things could get back to normal by mid of March. So, and once more again, I'd like to congratulate Prasantji, Rohit Borlekar, and all the participants who have joined from different parts of the country. So I hope you have a wonderful FDP, 1 week FDP program, and you learn a lot of things. And just when you get back to the industry, or maybe somebody may get back to academics, or somebody may get back to the industry, I hope you can contribute to the tourism industry. So thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I'm sure under your leadership and with your motivation, we'll definitely keep on organizing such events in the future.
Always with the department, always with the faculty.
Thank you, sir. Now, I request our source of constant support and motivation, Head of the Department of Tourism Management, Professor Gyanendra Bahadur Singh Johri, sir, to deliver his thoughts on this occasion, on the theme of this FDP.
Thank you, Dr. Rohit. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Most revered Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Shri Prakash Mani Tripathi, sir. Honorable Chief Guest of the program, Professor Sampada Kumar Swain Sahab, presently Head of the Department of Tourism Studies, Pondicherry University, Puducherry. The energetic Dean, Faculty of Commerce and Management, Professor A.P. Singh ji, my senior colleague, Professor Jitendra Mohan Mishra ji, the course coordinator, Dr. Prashant Kumar Singh, Deputy Course Coordinator, Dr. Rohit Ravindra Borlikar, the learned colleagues of my department, Dr. Anil Kumar Tamta, Dr. Jay Prakash Narayan, research scholars, students, and other dignitaries. A very warm good morning wishes to everyone who have assembled over here, though digitally assembled more precisely, in this inaugural function of 1 week's AICTE Training and Learning Academies online faculty development program, scheduled to commence from today and will elongate till January 21 this month. Friends, previous year from August 9 to August 13, 2021, this organizing team under the leadership of Dr. Prashant Kumar Singh and Dr. Rohit Ravindra Borlikar had organized very successfully 1 week's FDP on tour packaging management. Very interestingly, one question may be asked: if they have organized one, then what is the need of an advanced level FDP? I am sure that the organizing committee led by Dr. Prashant Singh and Dr. Borlikar, they have a number of options for this advanced level faculty development program. And I respect each option. One such option, to the best of my understanding and to the best of my knowledge, we can quote that in this age of cutthroat competition, and very deliberately I am saying even in the midst of COVID, cutthroat competition still exists. So in this age of cutthroat competition, every single bit and piece, and very deliberately I am saying every single bit and piece, requires specialization, and many times super specialization also becomes the need of the hour. And so it's very true, it's very needful at the moment to include the peculiarities of certain advanced level features, which are in fact the need of the professional teaching training scenario. Friends, present is the era of tailored tour packages. And when it comes to tailored tour packages, then even sky is not the limit. Believe me, when you come across the tailored packages, then every single tourist becomes a research subject. And that is why some type of advanced activities directly targeting the intricacies, the peculiarities, the complexities of the subject, that is tour packaging management, was bulging out And that's why I'm very happy. And not only happy, I am very much thankful to the organizing committee headed by DO experts, Dr. Prashant and Dr. Rohit, that they have taken this step to go for an advanced level activity, a faculty development program at this juncture, so that the teaching fraternity not only realize but take the outcomes of this faculty development program so that they can disseminate it to their budding managers, budding postgraduate students. One more thing I want to share here on this digital platform, that what I have observed while working with the coordinator and the deputy coordinator team, that their academic appetite is never satisfying. And it's a very good sign, not only to the department, not only to the faculty, not only to the university, but the whole global village should learn, should get many things of this agility. And very deliberately, I am not using the word ability. Very deliberately, I am using the word agility of never ending, never satisfied academic appetite behavior of the duo experts. I am extremely happy with the coordinator and the deputy coordinator, Dr. Prashant Singh and Dr. Rohit Borlikar, who have accepted this challenge, and not only accepted this challenge, they worked also to make it justified at the best possible time in the midst of Omicron variant of COVID, where deliberately or undeliberately the teaching, training activities have gone some types of hibernation. Though none of us wanted to go on hibernation, but likely, unlikely, some kind of speed breakers have came. And this advanced level faculty development program will lean the speed breaker and make our path more smoother, more in line with the present era requisites of modern teaching learning activities. Friends, if we introspect our earlier teaching time, then we can chalk down few basic pillars of present day requisites of teaching. Numbers may be different for each of them, but few things, I hope, few things will be on each person's list that may incorporate teaching, training, research, and extension activities. It becomes a crucially significant in this age of IT, which one of our former Prime Minister, Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, has categorically mentioned that it is India's tomorrow, and not only information technology, that all the 3-4 things, including teaching, training, research, extension, consultancy also are equally important. On the same horizon, they are relevant to. And all of them, they are equally relevant also. Not more, but at the same time, not less also. If we talk about teaching, then somebody may say, okay, what exactly is in teaching? What new in teaching is? Year after year, we have to take up the same syllabus. And year after year, we have to go through the same curricula. No doubt, University Grants Commission says that up to 20% we can change every year. But what happened at the grassroots level, we all know. At the same time, the poles apart thing is that, especially in teaching, it's a plethora of knowledge. It's a plethora of knowledge in real sense. Because the course instructor, as our new education policy states, they are very well in the decision-making part, not only of the basic questions like what to teach, when to teach, why to teach, and ultimate interesting thing is how to teach. Because when we have to impart something to students, then many times it's written in books, it's available on internet, it's available on Instagram, it's available in Telegram groups also. So here it's a collective responsibility of all the esteemed faculty members who are the participants also, that present era, we have to tell the students not only about only teaching, but also about applied teaching. And I have full hope that this very applied part will be very well covered in the coming curricula of this advanced level workshop. Now, what I mean by applied teaching, just 1 minute I want to pay on that. That just teaching a postulate of a doctrine is not at all sufficient in this age. Students can go and read in the books. Students can go and read on the internet. That is already available. So it becomes our responsibility, the responsibility of the teaching fraternity members, that how and when that very doctrine, that very particular postulate is to be applied in real life situation, in real life business projects, that should be dealt in the program of this very faculty, advanced faculty development program. The next thing which may take up is the training part. And here I am remembering that IIM Ahmedabad once says that what we train today, others teach tomorrow, quote unquote. So that was their working slogan, that what we train today, others teach tomorrow. And try to read between the lines that at that very point of time, they were training and others were teaching. So that was the poles apart difference in training part. Here it will come on the job training. Here it will come off the job training. Many times we explore many things with case studies. Many times we explore things with simulation exercises. So the ultimate aim of training must be achieved. The next part is research and consultancy. Here all the eminent faculty members are available. And to the best of my understanding, now they will accept and realize that this research should not only go to make this human race only full of comforts. In fact, the research should percolate the things which makes our life simpler and easier too. After all, it's not the ultimate aim of any research to make a life full of comforts. A perfect, judicious mix of bundle of comfort and the simplification of the life, so that the marginalized sections of the society, they should be given proper representation. And last but not the least, everybody talks in present scenario about the extension. Very interestingly, one of my research scholars have asked, what is the utility of extension, especially in academic institutes? Because young blood always challenges, and with the help of this challenge, our academic appetite won't go asleep. So I always work on that, why extension services are needed. For the simple reason that the ultimate aim of any education system, whether it is Finland education system, or you can say it is Scandinavian education system, or you can take Nordic education system, even you can take American management style in this context, or on the other hand, you can take Japanese management style in this context. But all management systems and education systems, they want to distribute the benefits to the society, because it is the society from which we are taking everything. So society must be honored, and not only honored, their needs, their requisites must be addressed fully and completely in all dimensions. Friends, there is very old story about the survival of fittest, the doctrine given by Charles Darwin. If you relate this survival of fittest with our teaching, then on the previous FDP, I have told one story about a medical doctor, about an engineer, even the barbers and the cobblers, they have also included, and then the comparison has made to the teachers. I will simplify it because I am seeing on the electronic watch. What I want to say that a medical doctor always regenerates his knowledge by treating n number of patients, and please read here, n number of subjects. So every time they come across a new patient, there is a new platform of teaching. Take the case of an engineer. an engineer gains new horizons of knowledge by his creations. Even if you go on taking the people like barber, they also renew the shine of their instrument. And now very respectfully, place a virtual mirror in front of you and ask this question: what we do as a teacher to revitalize our knowledge? The answer should not come from mind. It should come from our soul. It should come from our conscience. But there are opportunities also. And one opportunity has been very well grabbed by this advanced level faculty development program. In fact, FDPs, they inject many things in us. They unbox the new teaching technologies. They unbox the training of the prevailing requirements, need of the industry. They require the research requisites of the present scenario. They unbox the extension services umbrella needed at present. And all these will make an essentiality of the teaching today requisites. Friends, with these feelings, I want to put an end to my voice by thanking the course coordinator, Dr. Prashant Singh, the deputy coordinator, Dr. Rohit Ravindra Borlikar, who worked both as a team and who have taken all the pain and responsibilities. And very categorically, I am telling, they have taken all the pain and responsibilities, whether I will go on saying that they were on their toes day and night from past 15 days. And they made, I have full confidence that they will make this advanced level workshop a grand success. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. And to deliver the keynote address to start this FDP, we have a towering academic personality, Professor Sampath Kumar Swain, sir, with us. Sir is one of the most learned person in the tourism academia, and at present he is heading the Department of Tourism Studies of Pondicherry University. I humbly request you, sir, to enlighten the gathering with your thoughts on the theme of this FDP. Sampath, sir.
Very happy morning to one and all present on this ATAL FDP program organized by Department of Tourism Management, Faculty of Commerce and Management, Indira Gandhi National Tribal University, Amarkantak, under the able leadership of Dr. Prashant Kumar Singh, Coordinator, and Deputy Coordinator Dr. Rohit Borlikar. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Prakash Mani Tripathi ji, and my former colleague and present dean, Professor Amendra Pratap Singh ji, my heartiest congratulations to you for taking the charge of dean. And head of the department, Professor GBS Johri ji, former head of the department, Professor Jitendra Mohan Misra ji, and Dr. Anil Tamta ji, Dr. Janaran ji, and distinguished participants from different parts of the country, and one and all present here. My heartiest greetings to all of you for the new 2022. So how long we will be celebrating the Happy New Year? So in one hand, when we started celebrating in New Year, in other hand, we are countering the monster COVID-19 pandemic. But all these constraints and hindrances have not prevented the department from organizing this particular advanced level faculty development program sponsored by All India Council of Technical Education, New Delhi, on a very contemporary theme titled Tour Package Management. And I don't know how Prasantji has conceived this particular theme for the workshop, for the FDP. I must compliment him for conceiving or giving such a wonderful title, meaningful title, Tour Packaging Management, which is essentially an important functional area of tourism business. And each student, each scholar, each teacher, those who teach, those who do research, ultimately tourism promotion, tourism branding, tourism positioning, these are the three important outcomes of all our endeavors. So therefore, this particular tour packaging management or tour package management, there are three important words: tour, package, and management. So because I don't know whether the management word has been added unknowingly or unknowingly, but it has been added with certain substance, certain meaning. Because tour is conducted, package tour is conducted, because package tour is conducted in a professional manner, package tour is conducted in a systematic and methodical manner, because ultimately, as all of you know, tourism is a business. Tourism is no longer confined to national integration, international understanding, and fellow feelings, bilateral relationship, etc. But ultimately, the implicit objective of promotion of tourism is to have economic gains, is to generate business opportunities, entrepreneurial ventures. So, and tourism is an economic phenomenon, economic objective, economic means. So therefore, gone are the days, and in the olden days, many pilgrims, or you may say visitors or tourists, whatever would be the terminologies, ultimately they used to travel without having any plan, program, or without having any value addition to the activities. Many of them could complete the tour successfully, many of them could not complete the tour successfully, many of them could return, many of them could not return, and many of them could return with such a bad experience, or many of them could return with good memories. So therefore, with the passage of the time, in the course of the time, things have been improved, and tourism business has witnessed phenomenal changes and development. So therefore, the topic on which I am going to offer my inaugural address on this 5-day FDP program is dynamic tour packaging is disruptive innovation. So that my presentation will be very organized. So please hold on for a second. I'll just share my slide so that our presentation will be very organized. Any of Dr. Rohit?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It is visible,
It
visible.
is visible. It is visible.
So, dear participants, as this is the first session with all of you, whether it is an inaugural session, as it is a first session. So, when I received the invitation from the host, I thought what would be the topic on which I would address to the participants. Then after thinking, after comparing 2-3 areas of the discussions, I thought let me narrow down to this particular title, because this is the world of dynamic pricing, dynamic tour packaging, and tour operators, which is called as the wholesalers or manufacturers, designers, owners, or you may say the promoters of the package tour, has resorted to the dynamic tour packaging, has moved to the dynamic tour packaging. So gone are the days. So because as all of you know, as I have already presented to all of you, the first tour package was all-inclusive. Many of you would not be knowing, because we start teaching the students from the invention of the package tour by the legendary Thomas Cook. But prior to the Thomas Cook, prior to the creation of all-inclusive package tour by Thomas Cook, all religious institutions belonging to different religious sects, they used to organize, even they are organizing the package tour for their devotees, for their pilgrims. Whether you take the Hindu temple or you take the example of Muslim Dargah or the Christian churches administrations, or Jain or Buddhist, etc., etc. So therefore, because anyone who wanted to visit Jagannath Temple Puri or any of other 3 holy places of the Hinduism, it was the priest of the temple who are traditionally associated with the temple. They used to take care of the stay and visit and darshan of their yatris, Y-A-T-R-I, yatris. Yes, we call them as religious tourists or the pilgrims. So primarily it was extremely confined to the religious activities, and they had no other occasion to do or get involved other than offering their rituals to the god and goddesses of the temple, and they used to stay in the houses of the, that was the beginning. And many, because if you take the example of King Ashoka, or you take the example of Chandragupta Maurya.
प्रशांत बोल रहा हूँ सर, एक मिनट
Yeah,
सर, थोड़ा सा
बोलिए।
वॉल्यूम अपनी तरफ से इंक्रीज कर लीजिए, थोड़ा सा कम आवाज आ रही है सर।
अच्छा, ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है,
जी
ठीक है,
थैंक यू
थैंक यू। अभी आया? हेलो?
जी सर, अब अच्छा है सर, अब वॉल्यूम ठीक है।
Okay. So therefore, थोड़ा सा इको हो रहा है। And it's okay. So what I'll do, I'll
Yes,
get
it is okay.
disconnected and join again. Okay, I'll join. Okay. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption. So therefore, just a minute, it is better. Because all of you are more or less teaching tourism, and some of you must be doing research in the area of travel agency or packaging or entrepreneurship related. But primarily, the objective of designing or promoting or selling package tour is to address the needs and wants of the holiday makers, vacationers, those who, because as all of you know, one are the days what was offered to the holiday makers or vacationers, they were accepted. Now the time has changed. What is expected is, as all of you know, it is need based, it is customer centric, and value added products, value added packages. So therefore, the economic objective of designing the package tour is how to economize, how to reduce the cost of the tour of the customer or consumer, and how to maximize profit of the distributors, or you may say the travel intermediary or trade intermediaries. At the same time, the primary service providers or the vendors, those who primarily provide the services like hotels, resorts, transport companies, car rental companies, even a small horse, uh, you know, cart, even tonga, even a cycle rickshaw, because package tour is really all about a assembly of services, a combination of related or complementary services. Package tour is all about how a number of services or a combined of related and complementary services are offered in a single price, so that the tourist would not, or a guest or a customer would not find it difficult to manage each activity individually, so that they make the payment at one place, they expect to get the services at different places. That is the fundamental meaning of the packaging or tour packaging or package tour. So therefore, what are the advancements? What was the priest of the temple used to do for the yatris, that they used to stay in his house or in house, and they used to receive them from the place of entry. They, in the end, they used to give them dakshina. So they were not charging anything. They used to give dakshina. Sometime it would be more or less. So therefore, now over the years, Thomas Cook started the idea of running a travel agency in the middle of the 19th century, 1841. And from 1841 to 2022. So, because in the last 2 centuries, in the last almost 2 centuries, all of you, if you go back and see the progresses made in the business of travel agency and tour operations, it is the digital or information communication technology which has transformed, which has revolutionized, and which has made a significant difference of the package tour offered by Thomas Cook and Thomas Cook in 1841 and the package tour offered by same Thomas Cook in 2022. So therefore, the concept of dynamic pricing, which I have thought of adding as the title of my discussions, that the concept of dynamic tour packaging or dynamic pricing helps a firm to sell the right inventory unit to the right consumer at the right time for the right price. So because this particular concept of dynamic pricing or dynamic tour packaging, which was there, dynamic pricing which was there prior to 2008, as all of you know, 2008 to 2010, many of you might be knowing about the subprime crisis. So during the subprime crisis, in all the developed countries, that was an economic downturn or economic recession. So completely the financial system of many developed countries got collapsed. And that gave rise to mostly the aviation industry. Aviation industry started introducing the dynamic pricing. Prior to the subprime crisis 2010, if all of you would recollect, that was a fixed airfare. So whether you travel 6 months ago or whether you plan to book your ticket 6 months ago or one day before the commencement of your journey, the airfare would be same. Today, the earlier one books, the better will be the cheaper will be the fare. So fundamentally, let me tell you, this particular slide, the concept of dynamic pricing helps a firm to sell the right inventory unit to the right consumer at the right time for the right price. Because as all of you know, many of you must be knowing about the fundamentals of the tourism, nature of the tourism is tourism services can perishability. Perishability, seasonality. These are the two typical characteristics of the natures of the tourism. So, when the business of tourism is seasonal in nature, and if a particular service, for example, the seat of an aircraft, the room of a hotel, or the seat of a coach, or a car, or a theater seat, which are unsold, that means the revenue which is supposed to be generated for selling that particular room or a seat is lost forever. So therefore, to counter or to offset such losses, this particular concept of dynamic pricing got introduced in the tourism business. But as all of you know, tourism is a business. Tourism is a business. So when tourism is a business, what is expected in the business is profit and loss. So what is expected in the tourism business is investment and return on investment, ROI. And what is expected, because you know, tourism becomes the first casualty of any untoward incidences or any geospatial activities. As such, tourism is a business that gets affected due to seasonality, due to change of climatic conditions. So to counter that, dynamic pricing is a kind of strategy which can help tour operator, travel agent, and all the vendors, hotels, resorts, airline companies, car rental companies, coach companies, amusement operators, etc. So they can at least make break even during the lean season, and at least they can make bumper profit during the peak season, or you may say during the peak season. So that fundamentally that will be evened out. That will be evened out. So therefore, to do that, they primarily take the help of the dynamic pricing strategies. And as I mentioned little earlier, that what Thomas Cook designed the package for the local residents of London. Subsequently, Thomas Cook started operating tours to different parts of the world, including India. And Thomas Cook's son, John Mason Cook, was an influential person of the Egypt for conducting several tours to take the guests to the pyramids. So therefore, what I'm trying to tell you, that the difference which has been noticeable for last several years because of the influence of information and communication technologies. Today, all of you see the number of digital buyers worldwide. If you see 2014 to 2021, this is the increase in billions. And this will keep on increasing. And there will be no physical travel agency offices. Let me give an example to all of you. Prior to 1990, 1995, if anybody had visited Delhi that point of time, would have visited Delhi that point of time, would have seen travel agencies in Connaught Place, in Lutyens, Delhi. 80% of the Connaught Place area, you can find the travel agencies, all leading tour operators, inbound tour operators. Certainly outbound became popular after 1995-96 with the liberalization of the basic travel quota. Prior to that, there were restrictions on the foreign travel. So majority of the tour operators, they were the inbound tour operators. So therefore, what I'm trying to tell all of you is that, you know, this is the way you look at the countries, how they are using the digital mode or digital technology for transacting or for dealing with particular tour package business. And just you look at the growth of the sales, growth of the package sales, because let me tell you, all of you, nobody wants to buy packages or tour packages without making in-depth analysis, because those who buy packages, they are not ordinary customers, and they do detailed and comprehensive comparisons, study, analysis of value for money. Or is it worth buying or worth visiting or not? Now, all of you know, because information is cheaply available, and tour operator, nothing is to be hidden. No tour operator can afford to hide information, because let me tell you frankly, the profit margin of the inbound tour operator was almost 40% prior to 2004 and 5, because many of the vendors were not included in the business network. They did not have access to the technology. So let me tell you, all alternative tour packages used to yield very attractive profits to the inbound tour operators. For example, in the remote corner of a remote place in Bikaner or a remote place in Jaisalmer, for example, if a tourist wants to have Rajasthani folk dance in the background of the desert of Jaisalmer in the evening, so the organizer of that cultural program used to quote certain price to the inbound tour operators. An inbound tour operator used to add margin, which used to be 3 to 4 times more than the actual cost. So now that was the real profit that many of the tour operators used to make. That was the reason why inbound tour operation was more profitable. Today, outbound is more profitable than inbound business. So therefore, this is the slide, mostly as all of you see the diagram, growth of package sales. And this growth of package sales, which take place mostly with the help of the online sales, because many of them are buying the packages through online mode. So dynamic packaging, that is called uniform packaging, and the synonym of the dynamic packaging is, you can say, the uniform packaging. So dynamic packaging is a method used in package holiday bookings to enable consumers to build their own package of flights, accommodation, car rental instead of purchasing a predefined package. Am I right? So now no tour operator there is a tour operator in Chennai called PQ Trail, PICKYOUR, PQ Trail, TRAIL, PQ Trail, established by two alumni of IIM Bangalore. The PQ Trail visits Pondicherry Department of Tourism Management, Pondicherry University, for campus placement every year. So they are known for the customized packages. They don't go for group packages or group inclusive packages. They go for customized packages, personalized packages, and mostly, not mostly, they are known for FIT, pre-independent traveler. So they are specialized in that. So people would contact them for package tour, and they would tailor them as per their needs and wants. They would tailor them as per their budget. They would tailor them as per their needs. They would tailor them as per their time availability and preferences, taste, etc., etc. So therefore, what I'm trying to tell all of you is that today, now, if I wish to buy a package, I can check the Management-IGNTU-ATAL or many other online travel agent. They what they offer, sometimes they add room plus flight tickets, sometimes they add room plus sightseeing, sometimes they add flight plus sightseeing. So there will be a multiple combinations, what I am trying to tell all of you. So that gone are the days there were no flexibility, and buyers of the packages were restricted to the options provided by the tour operators. So now things are open, and they can see, they can compare the price. There are online travel agents, and price is very competitive, what I'm trying to tell all of you. So a combination of different travel components which are packaged and priced in real time, because the price of today would be different tomorrow. So in the real time basis, or the price in the afternoon or morning would change in the afternoon, depending on the demand and supply, because it is a function of demand and supply. More would be the demand, the more would be the price. The less would be the demand, less would be the price. So therefore, it is a question of demand and supply function. A combination of different travel components which are packaged and priced in real time in response to consumers and agencies' demand. Dynamic packaging provides all travel packages under single price, as I told you earlier, by hiding each travel agency individual's price, because that will not be reflected in the package prices. So mostly the margin of the tour operators will not be visible. Wholesalers, as you know, the tour operators, they have the freedom of making adjustments in prices based on changing market conditions, supply and demand forces. All right. What are the advantages to the consumers? Because when consumers wish to go for dynamic tour packaging, what are the advantages? So they would certainly get lower price. Each question is that the ability of the consumer to browse information, ability of the consumer to compare it, ability of the consumer to understand it and apply it, and consumer must be tech savvy and must be digital friendly, ICT friendly. Or consumer may take, otherwise sometime consumer may end up with paying more prices and may get cheated sometime. You may not know. So therefore, if somebody would apply the or use the comparative prices, so certainly will get low price. As I told you, I may buy, if somebody can buy a flight with the departure transfer from makepoint.com or hotel room from the booking.com, or sightseeing maybe from other tour operators, online tour operators. All right, so these three things can be taken from three different agencies, and one can complete the tour successfully and can get best prices. But sometimes there are limitations, there are disadvantages, there are a possibility of coordinations. That no problem will be there. But primarily, if somebody looks for lower prices, somebody can do experimentation like that. And plan and purchase holidays in a very systematic manner, methodical manner. There are the advantages because prices are not hidden, as I told you, in the era of ICT. And save time and compare price. One can save time and compare prices, as I have been emphasizing on. And there are many unnecessary activities, unnecessary services which get added into the packages for which a consumer or a guest or a tourist has to pay for that, which is unavoidable traditionally. Now, as I told you, what is required, what that I'll buy. For example, mostly we look for packaging is no more a problem for the consumer, but the programming is a problem because the programming is because know how other value-added services a consumer can get or a tourist can get or a guest can get after arriving it. So value-added services, for example, if somebody wants to have a somebody wants to see the classical dance programs in a particular city or any cultural programs. Right. Sometimes this may not be because it requires personalized services, but ultimately there will be ground operators, whether you buy from a traditional tour operator or from online tour operators. So ultimately there will be someone at the airport to receive the guest. Someone will be there to escort you or to accompany the guest from the airport to the hotel, and someone will be there at the uh, hotel reception to discuss with you about the tour program and plan. The local vendors, mostly the ground operators. Ground operators are now the role of the ground operators very important. That I'll get back to a little later. Time permits, flexibility to pick up and choose, as I told you, and benefits to the online travel agents, maximization of the guest revenue, because it seems that the profit margin will be low. Now there are aggregators. You take the example of the makemytrip.com or ismytrip.com, many other online, hundreds of the online travel companies in the world. So they are the bulk buyers of the hotel rooms, airline seats, and theater seats, etc., etc. But they transfer many of the benefits to the consumers mostly. So maximization for profit by providing the best services to the guest. So offer a full range of travel products and feature inventories, because mostly things are known to the online travel agents, we say tour operators, because now, because thanks to ICT, even a small hotel at the remote location gets connected, so that they come to know the availability of room at a particular destination, and what would be the price and to what extent they can do negotiation for the price. So subsequently, if you look at the benefits of the consumers, it will be more personal holidays, individualized, flexible. For example, you take the example of Goa, or you take the example of Gokarna, you take the example of any recreational places, holidaying places. So there will be flexibility. For example, somebody wants to hold the room for 3 hours more than the check-in time, check-out time. So that flexibility will be available. So they have to pay more, and even they can stay for 6 hours, or they can use for 3 hours, 4 hours on hourly basis. Flexibility is available, and sharing the uh, rooms are also available. These options are available, and valued services, which I have been emphasizing on. These are the parts of the dynamic tour pricing. If you look at this particular uh, model or diagram, dynamic pricing works of market demands allows company to set flexible prices for their products and services. So, because as you know, you see the curve which is upward. So in the initially the demand will be low, because for example somebody plans the tour 1 year in advance, the plan will be less, the price will be less, and if they plan the tour towards the close to the commencement of the tour date, so the price will be more, obviously. So now option is one can pay more and get the services. That is the advantage of the dynamic pricing. This is a typical model. All of you must be knowing it. As I told you, you can buy. Earlier, what happened? The option was one has to buy a package tour, which used to include all related and complementary services, starting from the airline ticket to departure transport to hotel rooms to food. It was all inclusive package tour, mostly the group tours, which are all inclusive in nature. And in FIT, some other elements are excluded, some other elements are included, depending on the places, depending on the destination, depending on the customer. And you take the example of the alternative tour packages. Alternative tour packages, if tourists are interested to go to see some of the beaten track destinations, or the destinations or the places of interest which are not conventionally connected. So primarily what happened, they largely depend on the tour operators. So therefore, you take the example of homestay, or which is an alternative accommodation, or bed and breakfast scheme of the government of India, which is also a kind of alternative accommodations. So these are all connected to the information and communication technology, ICT, and whether it is as small as the small vendor or it is a big vendor, they cannot afford to keep away from the ICT at all. So this is the, one can search for flight, one can search for hotel, one can make the payment. So because question is, now it is the more freedom is given to the customers. The customers who can enjoy the freedom of selecting the services on their own, and everything is known to them prior to their visit. Most of them they can see virtually. So and mostly, as all of you know, demand, availability, competitive, because with a, if somebody can afford 15 to 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or maybe 1 hour maximum, so one can make an in-depth study of the uh, services available, facilities, amenity available, price comparisons, and now mostly the customer real-time customer feedback, which is a most determining uh, feature, mostly the dynamic prices, real-time basis. because one can notice the rating of the guest. So this is the customer segmentation one can do. How who want to go for dynamic pricing. As all of you know, these are some of the mobile apps. As all you know, business of tour package is done through mobile apps. Each tour operators has customized their mobile apps. One has to download and put the place, time, date, services, budget, everything. So it will get processed and get communicated to the customers easily. So because we discussed about the Thomas Cook, I thought because our discussion would be incomplete without mentioning about the legend of the modern travel agency business is Thomas Cook. So as all of you know, Thomas Cook, who not only started professional travel agencies way back in 1841, but also invented many travel solutions. Because as a travel agent, as an entrepreneur, as a business leader, one has to provide travel solutions, because that time travel was not safe. People were looted on the way. So therefore, Thomas Cook, who invented the travel coupon, hotel voucher, broadly let me tell you, and hotel directory, guidebook, travel map. So, and more importantly, Thomas Cook innovation was the all-inclusive group tour packages and a world round the world tour. And it was the Thomas Cook who started the tour in the cruise. So name the tour packages which are becoming popular today got experimented by Thomas Cook about 150 years, 170 years ago, 8 years ago. So therefore, when we start discussing about the travel agency, tour operation, package tour management, itinerary planning, so we always mention about the contribution of remarkable contribution of Thomas Cook to the world of travel business. So now, maybe if time permits, I don't know. So disruptive on innovations, because which, as all of you know, innovation which brings solutions both to the consumers and as well as to the manufacturers or to the
Animesh, leave the platform.
or to
It
the
will be one by one, all will be joined.
So therefore, disruptive innovations describes a process in which new phenomena completely transforms uh, a market by offering distinct sets of benefits, price conveniences, etc. Subsequently, as all of you know, this is the world where information sharing economy in the sense, for example, if I travel to Ladakh, Leh, or Jammu and Kashmir, so I upload the photographs in my Twitter page or Instagram or in all social media, because that is called sharing economy. So peer-to-peer based activity of acquiring, providing, sharing access to goods and services, that is often facilitated by a community-based online platform. Because if somebody wants to take the advantage of the dynamic pricing, the customer has to be well educated. Customer has to have plenty of information with him or her. So that information is readily available in the real-time basis in the social media. And majority of them, those who prefer to go for dynamic pricing for purchasing packages, using dynamic pricing for purchasing package tours. So mostly they are the social media uh, savvy. They have the accounts in social media. They use social media. They take the benefits of information uploaded on the social media, and they take social media information very seriously. And so therefore, and middleman economy and platform economy, because if you see that a middleman plays the role of an intermediary in a distribution transaction chain who facilitates interaction between the involved parties. Because and platform economy, a distinctly new set of economic relations depending on the internet, computations, and data. All right. So, so now, as I have already mentioned it, that nothing is a secret, nothing is hidden, and nothing is uh, implicit. Everything is explicit. So, openness, user participation, and knowledge sharing. So, this is the present change that all of us are witnessing, all of us are experiencing today, because information is completely open, and people do participate wholeheartedly, overwhelmingly, and selflessly. And if I seek a piece of information, people would be ready to provide information unconditionally. So that's why knowledge sharing is more important. So therefore, what I'm trying to tell you is that there would be a threat. People, all of you may feel there would be a threat to the tour operators and travel agents, because all physical offices of the tour operators, um, majority of the physical offices, the space or the size might have been shrunk, or might have been, many of them might have closed the offices at the prime locations. They must have taken the offices to the remote locations, and many of them might be operating in a single room, but the volume of business will be far more than uh, expected. So today it is a virtual office. So that is the kind of things. And gone are the days ground operators. Mostly the ground operators are those vendors. They meet the guest directly. They receive the guest directly, welcome the guest directly, and they take the risk of uh, listening all complaints from the guest, and their performance becomes the success of the tour. If vendor selection becomes wrong, if vendors are not selected properly, perhaps on the ground services are not provided to the guest as per the terms and conditions and as per the expectations sometime. So obviously the guest would leave the place dissatisfied. So now in this present time, ground operators are unavailable. But even then, there are certain risk factors which we will discuss a little later, because tourism is a business which needs personal touch, which needs involvement, which needs human interactions, which machine cannot replace it. But machine learning, mostly, as all of you know, big data, or you can say machine learning is nothing but the data computations, capturing your data and doing a predictions of data. How many users of the internet, and for example, if I just search for a piece of information on the website of a particular online travel agent, makeMyTrip.com. So maybe after 1 hour or 2 hours, I start getting messages on my Facebook page or on my Instagram or on my email also, because Facebook is connected to the email. So I'll start getting messages whether I need or not. If I search for going to let us say Ladakh, so just I may search it, but that doesn't mean that I would confirm my travel to Ladakh. But subsequently, what happened? I keep on getting information without making any payments, so that I will get myself enlightened or sensitized sometime. No, yes, and sometime travel advisory also would come. This is not the right time to travel to Ladakh. This is the right time to these are the best properties which are coming in Ladakh. You can travel. So that I'm trying to tell all of you, so that one can. And machine learning is more important because this is all about statistics. What I'm trying to tell you now, a computer with many softwares, they can compute the data and reveal the results that would provide uh, some sort of you know predictions. Mostly, as you know, entrepreneurs or tour operators would predict the demand and supply, the predict the how much sale would take place, who are the potential buyers, how many cancellations would take place, what are the other forces, means uncontrollable forces may influence in the sale and you may say purchase or the operation of the tours. Now, because machine learning is more important. Machine learning in the sense computation of data. Data is plentifully available to all of us. So self-booking will become the norm today, as all of you know. Um, this is which will continue for a long time till the changes take place. So self-booking in the sense, for example, you take the example inbound operator, stick travel, which is an inbound operator owned by Mr. Subhash Goel, uh, one of the presidents of the IATO, one of the visible faces of the inbound tour operations, tour operator in India. And Stick Travel has closed many of the offices in different parts of the country, and Stick Travel has reduced the uh, physical space of the offices, and the very basic reason is that the ground operators. So Stick Travel has strengthened the ground services at different localities, at different small places, or at the uh, port of entry, like Chennai, Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Jaipur, all port, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Kochi. So these are the port of entries. The international travelers, international tourists, those who enter into India through these airports. So mostly they need the ground services. So for ground services, as all of you know, a tour operator does not need to own the fleets of transports, does not need to own the hotels. To the role of the tour operator is to play the role of intermediary or a middleman to buy the rooms in bulk and sell them in the flexible rates. I'm right, so that they can increase the margin of profit in the package tours. So self-booking will become the new norm, and intelligent assistants will revolutionize travel, as I told you, because many of the new age travelers, new age tourists, they they are tech savvy. They know what is to be done, what is the time to be done, and sometimes many what they do primarily, they don't confirm without making thorough and detailed uh, uh, analysis of the feedback given by the customers about the particular services. Corporate policies will be automated. It is already there, and because cancellation policy, reservation policy, payment policies, or insurance policies, etc. The benefits of using a dedicated platform for business travel management, and there is an app. It is just an example by Management-IGNTU-ATAL MyBiz, and countless technology will gain tractions. This is the most important aspects. So this is a small. It's not a case study. So if you look at all these points, as it is the last slide of my presentation, Management-IGNTU-ATAL after taking over the Go Vivo. So what is the minimum people disruptions for maximum customer advantage? So that how a particular customer, when he seeks or when he wants to get some information, piece of information, so how the minimum transactions can be done. So minimum people disruption for maximum customer advantage. So this philosophy or bottom line, consolidate the market share, because build complementary synergies, profitable growth, engaging and retaining critical talent, that is mostly the human resources, aligning human resource management policies and practices, employer branding, and talent acquisitions, more important, performance management, benefits and policies, separations, etc. So what I'm trying to tell all of you is that it is tour packaging management. It is not restricted only to a combine of services related on complemented services. A tour operator who has control over the vendors, customers would not have access to the vendors. Today, each customer can directly come to know the price of a hotel, price of a alternative accommodation, price of the car. But why do they want to take the help of the tour operator? Can the tour operator reduce the price of all individual services put together? That is certainly the scope is there, possibilities there, and many tour operators, they are also doing it. I have given the example of Pick Your Tree and now Tree Factory, which is fast expanding in the world, which has taken over the Management-IGNTU-ATAL, and they are going to provide smart solutions to the travelers, to the vacationers, holiday makers, those who want to travel to different places for holiday or for vacations. But primarily, what are the issues? Let me tell you frankly, because in the disruptions, because in the process of the cutthroat competitions, because mostly, as you know, after the pandemic, maybe after 2 to 3 months, so let us expect that this third wave would be the last wave. Subsequently, things will become normal, and a pandemic would not disrupt the business of tourism or the business of travel, business of hospitality. Pandemic would be there, but pandemic will be a big challenge to the traveler to travel with restrictions. But the big thing which is expected to happen is the travel. People will travel, because now all suppressed travel demands will be outburst. So people will travel. There will be scarcity of airline seat, hotel rooms, cars, coaches. There will be a problem of carrying capacity at the place. And demand management is more important than the supply management. So therefore, because many of them may not know the dynamic pricing would play a very decisive role, determining role uh, in 2022 and 23, which we all expect to see the uh, abnormal growth of travel, growth of tour package business. So, because towards the end of my presentation, because let me tell you why does it require management? Let me tell you, tour package management. Why does it require management? Because why it is required management? Because it involves with investment, and it it because now there are competitors, there are comparisons. Gone are the days, Thomas Cook used to play monopoly role, Cox and King used to play monopoly role, SOTC, Kyoni, Sita, Mercury. So they used to play monopoly or monopolistic roles in the tour package market, especially whether it is inbound, mostly the outbound market. And today all big players, all so-called big players, today all of you must be knowing the financial conditions of the Thomas Cook, and Cox and King is no more in existence, which has been taken over by Tea Factory. And subsequently, as all of you know, that many new tour operators would enter into the market, and they would come with the multiple options of choices to the customers to select and travel. But management is necessary in the sense, to maximize the profit, to maximize the profit, to minimize the loss, and just wait for a minute. Minimize the loss. At the same time, you know, to hold the talents, engage, engage the return, engaging the human resources, and more importantly, let me tell you, the avoiding the unexpected losses, because most of the tour operators in the last 2 years have closed the business, and despite having 3 decade, 4 decade, 5 decade experience with them, and business network with them, they could not be able to sustain in the business due to the pandemic situation for a long time. So tourism will not be, tourism is a business which will frequently face the problem of the uncontrollable factors. So therefore, dynamic pricing can only help if you look at from the supplier perspective, means from the tour operator perspective. Dynamic tour packaging concept, or dynamic tour packaging, which is nothing but a dynamic tour pricing, which will help the tour operator uh, reach break-even and make profit. At the same time, customers can also get multiple options of buying the packages. Either, as I told you, either they may go for one or two elements of the package tour, or they may go for complete package tours, and they can do the comparisons, and they cannot now neither the tour operators nor the customers, they can rule the price, because in the sense tour operator, first they need to customize the packages, so that personalize the packages or design the packages in such a manner that it would satisfy their travel needs and wants first. So now, in the next 2 to 3 years, let us not predict next 10 years or 5 years or 20 years, next 2 to 3 years. So it will be more supplier centric than the demands. It will be more supplier centric, in the sense suppliers will rule the market and customer will not have any more choices. So because there will be more demand, so demand management is more important. So this is the way the dynamic tour packaging can bring solutions to the tour packaging business in the post-pandemic time that I used to submit. Thank you for giving me this opportunity of addressing all the participants on the day of the inauguration, and I hope for the 5-day faculty development program organized by Department of Tourism Management with the AICT sponsorship would be extremely successful. All the participants would be benefited from the discussions and presentations on the tour package management, because ultimately the business of tourism has to be, business of tourism lies with the tour packaging management, and how tour packaging management or tour packaging, how does tour packaging can how can tour packaging bring changes? One. Secondly, as you all of you know, before I all the participants, more important things you keep in the mind that more consolidators, aggregators, they will decide the prices. Small players would not be able to survive in the future. So this is the way the things are expected to change. I hope all of you would enjoy listening from the resource persons invited by the host, and I may take 1 or 2 questions. I'm happy to take. So with this, I once again extend my sincere gratitude and thank to the organizer, more importantly, Dr. Prashant Kumar Singh, who is the coordinator of the program, and head of the department, Dr. GBS Johari, Dr. Rohit, and Professor Jitendra Bhuvneshwar. Thank you very much. Over to Rohit Borlikar.
Yes, sir. So as sir has suggested, if any participant has any question or any doubt, they can ask the question or type it in the chat section. If any participant wants to ask any question, can just unmute themselves and ask it straight away.
No, sir, thank you. It was a nice session.
Sampath sir, one general question was, will you please share the PPT with us?
Okay, so the PPT has already been sent to the host, so the host will share the PPT.
Permission, we will share it. Then, sir. Okay.
is Rajshri. I have one question.
Yes, Rajashri, ma'am, do you have any question?
Yes, sir. Just one small query. Like we are talking about the tour package right now. So various like I am the company who's doing the direct packaging for the rural tourism and the cultural tourism and all. So mostly I'm going to the direct to the customer sort of thing. And when you are having the B2B packaging and B2 customer like but direct to customer, there's a lot of changes in the pricing this thing. So are we going to consider the same thing or we have to reach to some different approach? Because I'm using TPO also as a for the B2B purpose. So regular bookings and all, I'm using the B2B platform, Travel Boutique Online. But when I'm making my own packages, so I want to use the direct to customer kind of approach. So how do I manage those things in the new innovative way?
So, madam, as you are from the industry,
Sir,
and
I'm just a startup.
oh, you are going to start. Okay, no problem. So, you need to design the packages which must be very unique and very distinct, and must be dissimilar, so that the buyer should find value in buying your packages. That is one. Secondly, it must be no uh, competitive price. Competitive price, because let me tell you frankly, I closed my presentation with a remark that many small players would not be able to take the advantage of the uh, demand of the package tour after the pandemic. The very basic reason is many big consolidators and aggregators, they have mostly uh, taken or purchased, or you may say signed agreement with many hoteliers. They have taken 60 to 70% of the rooms. Let me give the example. In New Year's, sorry, during the Christmas, during the Deepavali, one of the guests wanted to come to Pondicherry and wanted to stay in a particular hotel. So I knew the general manager. I called him, can I get a room? He said, all rooms are sold out. All right. So I said, your rooms are available. So he said, no, our rooms are sold out. We have sold the rooms to many of the aggregators. Are you getting a point? So now the situation is, madam, you may not be able to get the room directly from the vendor as a small player. So therefore, you may not get a competitive rate. How can you offer your package at an affordable rate? Because as a businessman, if you buy the things at a cheaper rate, then you can have better margin to sell your final product, that is called package tour. For example, you want to organize one pilgrimage tour to Badrinath. So if a customer, because if you look for 2-3 good properties at Badrinath where you want to put your guest there, if you don't get your room, all the rooms are sold out. What can I do? So therefore, all these so-called the aggregators, Agoda, and all these things, Airbnb, Oyo, so they have they are the disrupting the process of the package tour business now. Sometime the hotel tariff will be 10,000 rupees, but you will be getting the room in 6,000 rupees. So nobody knows what is that business model or profit model. So therefore, what I am suggesting you, madam, if you start offering packages to some of the alternative accommodations, alternative places, very remote places, unique places, where conventional tourists may not be interested to go. Perhaps you may have the control over the prices, control over the accommodations, and control over your customers. And customer will not be, because information will not be available. So therefore, this is the way you may be able to run the business successfully. and profitably. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm just doing the offbeats in the Punjab and Uttarakhand. So hopefully your advice will be really relevant to us. Thank you, sir.
There are many questions actually, but as we are running out of time and we have to start our next session from 12 o'clock. So I think
We may take one more, Rohit, one more question.
Sure. There is one question. What should be the dynamic pricing strategy for niche tourism products?
Okay, so you see, the question of dynamic pricing as far as the niche tourism product is concerned, you take the example, what is niche tourism product? Mostly the, adventure tourism, you take the example, am I right? Or you may say eco-tourism or rural tourism or farm tourism, agricultural tourism, am I right? So the suppliers are limited. When the suppliers are limited, so you never expect to take the advantage of the dynamic pricing. If the suppliers are more, you can take the advantage of the dynamic pricings. The supply is limited, so there will be no flexibility in the prices because the vendors know that there will be a sale 100% even 3 to 4 months before. Why they will have the base price in the beginning? All right. So therefore, the dynamic pricing strategy may not be applicable in case of the niche tourism packages, because the question is that there are limitations of the accommodations, there are limitations of the carrying capacity of the place. You take the example of Solang Valley. See, somebody wants to go to Solang Valley in Manali, so there will be 2 to 3 accommodation places, accommodation operators. Their room will be maximum 15 to 20 or 30. So therefore, the dynamic pricing will not be applicable much to them. But certainly, as you know, the big players, so they may take these rooms also at the remote locations so they can offer the affordable rates. That possibility is very high. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It was really, whenever we have any discussion with you, it is always enriching experience. Thank you. Due to some unavoidable reasons, Honorable VC sir is not able to be with us, although he has expressed and conveyed his best wishes for the FDP and to all the participants. So we'll quickly wind up the session with a quick vote of thanks. So first of all, I would like to thank all the participants for showing interest and applying for this FDP. My special thanks to those participants who are there with us in the last FDP as well, in the basic level FDP as well, and who have come back to join us in this FDP as well. So thank you again for showing giving support and showing trust on us. Definitely it will be worth your time and efforts. I thank Honorable VC sir, Professor Sampath Kumar Swain sir, Professor AP Singh sir, Professor GBS Johri sir, Jitendra Mohan Mishra sir, Anil Kumar Tamta sir, Jai Prakash Narayan, and Prashant sir for organizing this FDP. I thank the administrative staff of the university and the media personnel for their support as well. Thank you everyone. We have shared the link of the next session already in the chat box in the WhatsApp group. So please join us after a small break of 20 minutes.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Sanjay, and all of you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste. Bye.
Sure. Thank you, Rohit.
Thank you, sir.
Take care. Okay.